So, Lost Soul aside, you know that flashy trailer from back in 2014? Yeah, 2014, over a decade ago? That looked way too good to be true for a solo project. The one where some guy dropped a video of insanely flashy combat, ridiculous anime style movement, and JRPG flair, and everyone online said, "There's no way this is real." Well, here we are in 2025, and this thing is real. It's here. You can actually play it. But now that it's out, the big question is, was it worth waiting 11 years for? Does Lost Soul Aside live up to the hype it built over the years? Or is it one of those passion projects that just can't quite meet expectations? The answer, well, it's complicated. There's some amazing stuff here, but also some frustrating stuff that's hard to ignore. Let's dive in. Hey folks, welcome to Pre-Game Lobby, the series where we give you honest first impressions and straight up gameplay so you know what you're getting before you spend your cash. I'm Davis, and today we're taking a long, hard look at Lost Soul Aside, a game that's been hyped, doubted, delayed, and finally delivered. This one's a bit of a unicorn. It's a flashy indie action RPG with big ambitions, a style all its own, and a development story that makes you root for it, even when it stumbles. And trust me, it stumbles plenty. But at the same time, there's something fascinating about it. Let's start with the context because this game's development story is honestly one of the wildest in gaming. Lost Soul Aside began as a solo project by a Chinese developer named Yang Bink. Back in 2014, he released a short trailer he made in Unreal Engine, and it exploded online. The combat looked AAA. Environments were gorgeous, and people couldn't believe one guy made it. That attention got him funding, and over the years he built a small team, eventually around 40 people. Now in game development terms, that's still tiny. To put it in perspective, a game like Devil May Cry 5 had hundreds of developers. So this is a small indie team taking a swing at a massive, flashy, combat-focused action game. And that's important to remember when you play it. Lost Soul Aside punches way above its weight, but you'll feel those limitations too. This game feels like a labor of love. Oh, there's real passion behind it, but it's also a bit of a patchwork. Some parts are polished, others feel unfinished, and the contrast is noticeable. Okay, let's get to the heart of it. Combat. If you're into action games, this is the part that'll either hook you or push you away. Lost Soul Aside is flashy, fast, and combo heavy. Now, you've got a toolkit that lets you chain air juggles, pull off flashy cinematic finishers, teleport around, and swap weapons mid-combo. It's got elements of Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, and even a little Final Fantasy 16. When it works, it's awesome. The first time you juggle an enemy, switch to a different weapon mid-air, and finish them with a screen-filling special, it feels incredible. Now, the game gives you that anime protagonist power fantasy, and that's where it shines. But here's the thing, it doesn't always feel as good as it looks. Dodging is floaty, animation sometimes feels stiff, and your inputs can get lost during long combos. And the systems are deep, but they don't have that tightness you'd expect from a Platinum Games title. Now, it's not unplayable by any means. I'd say it's good, sometimes even great, but it's not the ultra smooth, perfectly tuned combat you might expect from a game that looks like this. When the Lost Soul Aside looks good, it looks amazing, and there are moments where it feels AAA. Dramatic lighting, cinematic vistas, and enemy designs that would fit right in a high-budget JRPG. The combat animations, especially for your specials, are beautiful, but then you hit areas that feel completely unfinished. The hub area is a perfect example. It's plain, awkwardly laid out, and weirdly ugly for a place you revisit constantly. Animations are missing, like plants that just disappear when you pick them, or characters that teleport around instead of moving smoothly. There are also weird design choices, like the save system. You talk to a character to save, and the game zooms in, zooms out, and then zooms in again before actually letting you save. It's minor, but it's the kind of unnecessary friction that adds up. This game looks like a highlight reel in trailers, but when you actually play it, you see those rough edges. The narrative is another area where the game struggles. It opens strong with a mysterious hero, a dragon companion, and a world at war. It feels like it's building to a big, sweeping JRPG story. But that promise fizzles quickly. You're basically on a quest to collect magical crystals to save your sister and the world. That's it. Character development is minimal, and the story is mostly told through static dialogue boxes with characters standing still. Feels like a throwback to the 90s, but without the charm. There's clearly some lore here, and the world feels like it has depth, but the way it's delivered doesn't give you much reason to care. If you're looking for a narrative hook, this game probably won't grab you. On paper, Lost Soul Aside has RPG elements, but they're pretty shallow. There's a skill tree, some accessories, and gear upgrades, but nothing that dramatically changes your playstyle. One cool idea is that you can visually customize your weapons with accessories. You can place them wherever you want, and they actually appear in-game. It's neat in theory, but the camera is so zoomed out and the combat is so chaotic that you'll rarely notice these customizations. That said, the weapons themselves are excellent. They feel distinct, with unique attack animations and abilities. Switching between them mid-combo is seamless, and this is one of the best parts of the game. Even if the RPG systems aren't deep, the variety in weapons makes combat feel satisfying. Performance-wise, it's rough. I played on PC, and while the game generally runs, I had multiple crashes, frequent stuttering during area transitions, and enemies occasionally freezing in place. The checkpoint system is also frustrating. Boss fights don't have mid-checkpoints, so if you die, you're replaying long sections. It feels punishing, not challenging. The game's ambition is obvious, but these technical hiccups constantly remind you this isn't a big-budget game. It's not broken, but it's not polished either. Now, I know this all sounds negative, but Lost Soul Aside does get a lot right. The soundtrack is incredible. Seriously, this is one of the best parts of the game. It's dramatic, orchestral, and feels ripped straight out of a Final Fantasy title. The enemy variety is strong, the bosses, while overused, are well designed visually, and some fights are genuinely exciting. The environments, when they're good, are stunning, and the combat system has real depth for players willing to learn it. This is the kind of game that gives you moments of pure joy when everything clicks. You feel powerful, stylish, and in control. Those moments are worth celebrating. One interesting thing about Lost Soul Aside is that it feels like a game from another era. If this had come out on the Xbox 360 or PS3, people would probably call it a cult classic. It has that early 2010s vibe, ambitious, slightly messy, but full of heart. But in today's market, where even indie games are super polished, it stands out more for its rough edges. It's easy to admire this game, especially knowing its development story, but it's also easy to get frustrated with it. So, should you buy Lost Soul Aside? Here's my honest take. If you're a hardcore action fan, someone who loves Devil May Cry or Bayonetta and doesn't mind a little jank, you'll probably have a great time. There's a ton of content here. The combat is flashy and fun, and there are some genuinely cool ideas. But if you're looking for a polished modern action RPG with a gripping story and perfect pacing, this isn't that. It's bloated, it's repetitive, and it's rough around the edges. It's a game that's easy to respect, especially considering it started as a solo project, but hard to fully recommend at full price. This feels like a first entry in a franchise that could become great down the line. The foundation is here, it just needs refinement. And that's all I got for you. Have you been following this project since the early trailers? Are you excited to play it, or are you waiting to see how it's patched over time? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If this helped you out, leave a like. And if you're new here, subscribe for more pre-game lobby videos. We cover all the latest releases. I'm Davis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Right here on Couch Culture.